Hey everyone, and welcome to the very first exclusive interview. This podcast is all about connection, hearing the stories, lessons, and life hacks from mamas at every stage. So today I'm sitting down with an amazing mama who's showing up with her heart open and her story ready to share. So whether you're folding laundry, driving to school, or finally sipping that cold cup of coffee, I hope this conversation makes you feel seen, supported, and a little more empowered. Let's dive in. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your family?
Yeah, so my name's Rachel Madala, and I have 2 kiddos, a husband, and 2 dogs at home, and my kids are 4 and 6. And so we are at just finishing up kindergarten and getting ready for the youngest to start 4K next year. So lots of excitement right now with that starting.
Let's see. What's one thing you thought you'd be amazing at as a mom, but found out was a little bit harder than expected? These might be a little tough.
I know. I guess I always pictured myself being like, when the kids were little, like, oh, I'm going to be the mom that we're just going to do all these fun outings and we're going to go all these places and see all these things. I don't know why I thought that, because I'm very much a homebody. So once I started doing that with my first kiddo when she was a baby, it turned out to be a lot more work than I realized. And it just ended up being more stressful for me, and just bringing all the things, the giant diaper bag. And so, yeah, I thought we would be going and doing all these things, and come to realize that we are all very happy with our home adventures as much as we are going places. So just after a few tantrums out in public, I thought I was doing something wrong. And so we brought it back home for a while till I realized that tantrums are okay and they're kids. And yeah.
It's perfect that you bring that up, because this is one of the reasons why I started this podcast, is because I know how hard it is to get ready to go do something, to get our kids engaged in something like taking her to Wildcats and getting her with the other children and stuff. I'm like, no, it takes 2 hours to get ready and to get out of the house. And so I know how to do this. I can do this at home, and I can bring this into other people's homes, as I was trying to do lesson plans and stuff that I could do, help online with resources and stuff. And I'm like, that is a lot more work and a lot more time than I have to do. So that's why I created this podcast, just for those reasons exactly.
I feel like so many moms can relate to that.
Oh, I hope so. And with that said, what do you think your biggest parenting win is so far?
I would say I love the way that my kids love other people. And then, to me, that's a win, because we have taught them kindness and empathy. And even though they're only 4 and 6, they are so capable of feeling those things. And so when I see them showing that or demonstrating that when we're out somewhere or when they're with friends or family, I don't know, part of my heart just they're good human beings. And I just love that about them.
It's so crazy how relatable this is, because I just wrote a script for another Real Mama Reflections episode, and it was based on that, as it was a whole sippy cup I just gave my daughter her sippy cup, and as I gave it to her, she's like, "Oh no, Daddy, look." And her sippy cup was leaking. So I went over there instinctively and fixed it, because I knew that I didn't put it on correctly, mom. And I just gave it back to her and went back to the kitchen. And she came to me and was like, "Thank you, Mommy, for helping me with my sippy cup." And I'm like, you don't realize that they know these things, but then they do. And she's only 2 years old. So it's crazy to see these at such a young age.
Absolutely. And I feel like showing them that we believe that they can feel these things and do these things, is very empowering for them too. If we don't expect it, they're not going to live up to that, right? And I feel like when they see mom recognize that and believe in them that they can do those things at 2 or 4 or 6 or whatever, I think that really makes them feel good,
Exactly. That proudness of themselves. That's what melts my heart.
Oh, absolutely. And then you can celebrate that, right? You celebrate that big.
Exactly. You just want to stop everything that you're doing and just hug them forever.
Yes, I know that feeling very well.
Perfect. What was one piece of advice you received that turned out to be actually helpful?
So I have a good friend who, you know, how at like baby showers, people will write down, you know, their little bits of advice and like on a little card, and then you get them at the end and you can read through them.
Mhm.
So one of my friends told me that everything is a phase. And I'm like, you know, that didn't mean much to me at the time. I hadn't had a single kid yet. I wasn't a mom. And she said, just remember everything's a phase. And for some reason, like that, those few words stuck with me as, you know, when they're going through that 4-month sleep regression that for us was very real. And you're up in the middle of the night running on zero sleep. And I had her voice in the back of my head, like everything's a phase. Phases start and they end. So like I didn't know when that end was going to be. And it was hard at the time, but there was going to be an end to that phase. And then whatever the next phase was going to start as well. And even the good, you know, the amazing things that they go through, there's a start and an end to those, but everything is a phase and you're not going to be stuck in the hard ones forever. They do end and your kids move on to the next adventure. So that one was really helpful for me.
That is perfect because I've worked with infants all the way up to preschool, and I have to keep reminding my husband, who doesn't have experience in this, that everything is a phase. She's two. It's just a phase. They say the terrible twos from 18 months to 2 years old. Just hold on, just hang in there.
Yes, hang in there. So yes. And my husband was not in education either, or not around kids. And I remember reminding him of very similar things.
Men.
What are we going to do with them?
Right. Do you have any go-to routines or hacks or tools that help make mom life smoother?
I think just having routines in general, like kids thrive with having a predictable schedule and they thrive with boundaries. And when we are clear and upfront with that, I think that helps them so much. You know, there's no surprises. Like we know after we brush our teeth, we get our pajamas on because it's the same thing every night. And so I think just having that predictability can be so helpful for them. And also, you know, if their brain isn't understanding something in a certain way, showing it to them in another way. So like I think about time. My 4-year-old has no concept of time. And so when we would tell him like, we're going to get ready for bed in 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes went. And in my mind at first, I'm like, okay, he's going to handle this fine. Like time to go upstairs, buddy. And it was complete meltdown. Well, he doesn't understand 5 minutes, right? So we switched to a visual timer for him and it was a game changer. Like he just needed to see that little section of blue getting smaller and smaller. And then he was totally fine. He's like, okay, time to go upstairs. And so I think just meeting them where they're at, you know, and however they learn and understand things best can be so helpful for them.
Absolutely. And I have come to learn that children under the age of 5 definitely need those visuals. It definitely helps with transitions and stuff. This is an important one. How do you carve out time for yourself?
That is a work in progress, let me tell you. I didn't at first, especially when my first one was born. I was full mom mode, and I thought that meant that I needed to be exhausted, and I needed, you know, it was okay that I was sleep deprived and not taking care of myself because I was a new mom, right? And what I found was obviously that I was no good to anybody at that point, my kid, my husband. And so it took a lot of persuading from my husband, and I'm grateful for him over these last few years to make sure that I do that. The best way that I have found is just to plan it ahead of time for me. Like I'm a planner and I like to know when things are coming up. So when I'm feeling like that burnout or just feeling like I want some time for myself, if we, you know, coordinate a little ahead of time together with my husband and be like, okay, Friday, like mom's not going to be here for bedtime. She's going to go do whatever, or even just be in my room in the peace and quiet because that is magical. Yeah, I think just planning it ahead of time has been really helpful for us.
I'm going to build off that a little bit. At what age did you find that you were able to start actually doing that?
It took me a while. I'm a bit of a control freak as well, so that's my problem. I think it took until my second one was done nursing. So he was a year old. My oldest she would have been like 2.5. And it took a long time for me to be okay with being away from them. And once I realized like they're fine. I'm a better mom because of it. I started to do it more consistently, but it took a very long time for me.
I agree because like my oldest is 2. Well, she's about to be 2.5. And I just recently started doing stuff for myself. And my youngest right now, she's about 5 months old. And it is very hard to find some time for yourself, especially because you feel like you're in mommy mode 24 hours a day. And it's hard to let go and let your partner help you because you feel like you're the mom. You have to be doing this. Like you're setting that like standard for yourself. And I think I started maybe 2 months ago, started putting on the schedule game nights with my friends online, or now this podcast, because now it's something I'm very passionate about and something I can do from home because I'm also a full-time student, a full-time mom, and now I'm about to be a full-time podcaster. Very, very busy. But in order, like you have to like let go a little bit and allow people to help you. And I'm one of those people who do not ask for help. I do not ask for it. But if you see me struggling, sure, come on in. I will gladly let you take over. But if you're expecting me to ask you, nope, I will do it myself because I can.
That is so me. I know. And especially with my husband, like I finally realized, he's not a mind reader. Once I started feeling like, okay, it's okay to ask and it's normal to ask, and I'm a better mom when I ask for help, like that helped so much when I realized that asking for help wasn't a failure,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something I'm still working on myself, is asking him to help me rather than just expecting him to help me. Because sometimes he doesn't see that I'm struggling because I hold it in so well mentally.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, so he's not a mind reader, and it is okay to ask for help.
Definitely. And then you're better to everybody else around you when you do.
Exactly. Especially your kids. That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
That one was a hard one. Out of all the questions, that one was probably the hardest. Let's see. If you could go back and give a new mommy one message, what would it be?
I know this sounds cliche, but it's going to go fast. So soak up every minute. I think about on the weekends where, I had these big plans, like I'm going to get all this stuff done around the house. And then one of the kids would take a super short nap. So I'm like, okay, well, they need a longer nap. And so I'm in there, rocking them, saving the nap, thinking about all the other things I'm not getting done. And I was okay with it, but I still like had that pressure that I wasn't getting other things done. And now I would give anything to go back and rock them to sleep, and they're not even that old, but those moments go so fast. And I know, and there's great moments coming, and I know that, and I love those ones as well, but it just goes fast.
It does. And it's so crazy because I cannot believe my 2-year-old is about to be 2.5 years old. And then we have another one. So it's like those times are happening so fast. And it's just like time goes by so quickly and you don't even realize it. And then it's like, oh, well, we can't wait for, Sophia to be, Zoe's age so they can play together. But then we don't want to wish away her time as a baby. So it's like one of those moments where you're like, yes, I want this, but I'm also enjoying the time I have now.
Yes. And I wish I would have spent more time enjoying, I think, versus putting that pressure on myself. Who cares if my house is clean? My kids don't. So enjoy the contact naps and the whatever phase you're in, because it's not going to last forever.
And that's true. So true. And then it's funny that you bring that up as well, because in the next release of Real Mama Reflections is about finding time for chores. As I realized, like I was trying to fold a basket of laundry and what should have took 10 minutes took 6 hours. So there's that.
Know that.
And it's okay, dishes can wait. The laundry can wait. You just have to fill in those little moments with your children as often as you can and know that you're not failing or falling behind, because it's the most important thing is showing up for your children. And that's why we're here.
Yes. And they are going to be the last people to care about a clean house.
Exactly.
And anyone who comes to your house, I had to remind myself of this. I'm like, if anyone comes to my house and is going to judge me for not having a clean house when I have 2 little ones at home, like maybe that's not someone I need to be coming around anymore,
Absolutely. Or they just don't have kids themselves and they don't understand. But if they do, they'll understand.
Absolutely. Mamas get it. And my friends who came over and had to move a pile of laundry to sit down on the couch, like those are my people, because we did the same thing at their house.
Exactly. See, There you go. And you still have those, people that can relate to you. And if they can't, sorry, because we're kind of dealing with that ourselves right now, where some friends, they want to come over and have game nights and go out. And like my husband, his old boss just invited him to a bar so he can propose to his girlfriend. But we have two little ones at home, and he knows that. But like, he's not just going to go out to a bar because, hello.
Yes, times that 2 kids will change that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Even with one, like he probably just is like, nah. But I mean, yes, you can use them as for an excuse, but at the same time, definitely hang out with the people that know you and can relate to you.
Mm-hmm. Or if they're willing to go to dinner at 4:00 so that your kids can get home at a decent time, like that's perfect. Those are our people.
Exactly. Like they know what time is nap time. They know what time is bedtime. They know that witching hour, and that's all you need to know.
Yes.
Okay, well, we have a few more minutes if you want to share what you do, or if you want to plug in any socials that you want to share with anybody.
Yeah. So I'm a podcast manager. So that means that I help entrepreneurs behind the scenes with their podcasts. And so I help them launch their shows, and I help them with monthly management and just to kind of help take that piece of their business off their plate so that they can focus on all the areas that they want to put their energy into. I am really mostly active on LinkedIn right now. So you can find me at Rachel Madala, and I love meeting new people and starting conversations. So if you have any podcasting questions, feel free to find me, and I'd love to chat.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being my very first interview. And hopefully, we can get these messages out there to more people, because these are really good messages for other moms. And I'm like, there's got to be something out there to reach them and give them a message saying that you're doing fine. Hang in there.
Yes. And that it's normal. Like it's okay.
We're all going through it.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, or you're about to go through it, here's a little bit of expectations of what being a mom is really like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.